Well, firstly, I'm very honoured and very proud to be given the opportunity to lead the organisation for the next 3 years. I think it's a fantastic opportunity and one that I really value, and I feel very privileged to be given that honour.
Daryl, I guess you would sort of be feeling fairly comfortable. It's a fairly easy transition into the role given you've been with the Waratahs.
Absolutely. I guess part of the appeal of appointing someone who's internal to the organisation is that we hope to have a seamless transition and handover. I think Michael has made it clear that part of his legacy is leaving our organisation in really excellent shape. And I think through the appointment of myself and being an internal candidate, we can achieve that.
Is your coaching philosophy much like?
Probably our coaching styles are very different, but I think our commitment to our principles and the blueprint that we've laid down here, our commitment to our values and being a vision-based organisation won't change.
What are your priorities?
My priorities are clearly around our 2016 roster. That's urgent business right now. It's the challenge that's before us, and with the current contracting climate and competition from overseas, it's one that we're dealing with immediately.
Who among the roster? Is it retention? Is it recruitment? What's the balance?
Well, obviously we've got 25 guys potentially off contract. We are firmly in retention mode while having a real firm eye on recruitment. Obviously some key departures that have already been announced, and we want to make sure that firstly we cover those departures but also retain the bulk of our squad for 2016.
How confident are you, given some of the characters you are losing, that you will have a roster to work with of sufficient quality?
Obviously Greg's been working away in the last month trying to secure and have those discussions with a number of our key players. I'm very confident that we can firstly provide an excellent environment for those players and an excellent reason for them to stay. Now with the appointment of the coach and certainty they have around the direction of the club and the person who will take them forward, I believe we're in an excellent position to retain our key stars.
That's including Kirtley, Izzy?
100%.
Have you had any conversations with them yet?
I myself have not. Obviously I don't have that mandate, but certainly Greg has been working away in the background.
And to that end, I mean, the negotiations aren't solely the Waratahs' responsibility there. As you well know, that's a joint venture responsibility with respect to contracting players of national interest, and some of that lies, and the majority of that actually under the current contracting system lies with the Australian Rugby Union. So it has to be a partnership situation there, but we've had a lot of discussions with both the agent of both of those players.
How advanced are negotiations with both of them?
I'd say they're fairly well advanced, actually. I think, without a doubt, as Daryl's pointed out here today, that his appointment will enable us to bring forward those discussions as well, because there's now certainty over where the coach is going to be, who the coach is going to be, and players are very keen to make sure that the management of their game is going to be the right management that suit them, and I think the rapport that he's developed with those players is no doubt going to be, and that the conversations have been along those lines. Is look, let's move forward once you've got your coach appointed. So the coach is first base.
And Greg, it's a 3-year deal, so you've obviously got enormous confidence that things aren't going to pear shape.
That goes without saying. That at the end of the day, I mean, if you want to have a look through this fella's coaching record, not only his coaching record, his playing record, and the fact of the matter is that he's not just a football coach. He's a person who's got outstanding educational credentials as well. So we employ the whole man to be a coach, just the same as you want to look at your athletes that you employ to be the whole of person, not just somebody who runs out in the field.
Daryl, what are your goals sort of longer term once you secure the roster? Where do you want to take the club?
Sure, I think the key thing for us is firstly securing that roster, and I guess where I want to take the club is certainly retain our status as a premier club, firstly in Australia, but not only in Super Rugby. I think we've worked hard over the last 2 or 3 years to really drive and transform ourselves into perennial contenders, and it's certainly my goal to make sure that we retain that status and compete every year for trophies. And while some people may think that's arrogant, I believe because of our position in Australian rugby and the fact that we sit on the largest talent base, that should not be unachievable.
Nathan Gray, what sort of position, where does this sort of leave him?
You a minute. Look, as I said before, first base is actually engaging our head coach. Concurrently, we have to look at our list retention and recruitment, and also the coaches who are going to support Daryl. Michael's already established that he wants Nathan involved in the national program. We've got to engage in some discussions. I know that Daryl will be very keen to have Nathan on board, getting the team back together again, or holding the team together again. So, look, we've just got to work out a few things there, but without a doubt, I mean, Nathan would be somebody who would be integral to our team going forward, and Daryl's expressed that. Part of the process for selection of the coach was also is the football department structure, which they'd like to have, and I've taken that on board. I think we had some fairly similar views as to how that might go forward. So that'll be work in progress for us.
Daryl, your assistant team makeup, how will it look? Who will you need to do what sort of jobs?
Yeah, providing Nathan, we can work out contractually how that's going to work with Australia. Obviously, with him on board, I'd be seeking a forwards coach. Currently, I've got the luxury of time, and I'm going to use that time to make sure I get the best person. There's a number of candidates. I won't talk about names, but certainly I'm going to use that time to make sure that I get out and about and I talk to as many people as possible.
Greg, what do you think Daryl will bring to the table that perhaps we haven't seen before?
Well, the first answer is going to be success, but then we've had that, so I'd like to see him maintain that. At the end of the day, look, he's going to be his own person. Michael's a very unique individual. There's no doubt about that. He's brought change to the club. He's brought a spirit to the club, and he's brought success to the club, and that success has been integral to the club's financial position as well. I mean, at the end of the day, though, this guy's a different chap to Michael as far as he said himself, personality-wise, character-wise. I think similarly, though, he has, he's a very values-based person, and that was very critical in the selection of him to be the coach. So I'd say that, a lot of the positives are going to be continued, but at the end of the day, I mean, this chap's his own man, and he's aware of that, and he has to be himself because everybody else is taken.
Daryl, do you have any, given Check's massive personality, do you have any anxiety about sort of filling that void at all, or any difference there?
No, not at all. I think Greg summed it up really well. We are two different personalities. I think what's important for me is that I balance my personality out with my coaching team, and that's firstly one of the considerations that I need to ensure that we got really good balance amongst our coaching staff.
And when you have a forwards coach in mind, some of the candidates you've got in mind, are they Australian, New Zealanders, overseas?
One of the things I was really impressed with the panel is don't just think you have to go with an Australian forwards coach. I really appreciated that from the panel. My own personal view is, yes, I'd like it to be Australian. I think that's critical for our own coaching pathways, but I'm not going to be held down to that small box. I want to get the best person for the role, and if that person's from somewhere else, then I'm willing to take that step.
And just the point you made about the talent pool, the nursery that New South Wales kind of sits on. Why do you think success has actually been a challenge for the club, given the point you just made about the nursery?
Absolutely, and I think that's probably the critical thing that we've taken some real strides towards, is getting our youth structures together and really starting to produce the pathway and talent that I think in the past the organisation has been guilty of being a little bit arrogant around and not putting the necessary foundations in place for our team to be continually challenging and being a top 4 team in Super Rugby. I believe over the last 2 years we've done excellent work. We've established some really nice structures, regained our pathways, and I guess the fruit of that labour will be seen in the coming years, particularly in 2017, 2018, where a lot of those young players that we've nurtured through our pathways will become Waratahs and lead our organisation in the future.
Do you see the next few years as sort of a changing of the guard and a chance to give some of those younger guys a go?
Absolutely. I think obviously that is our challenge, I believe. Next year we hope to retain a good core of our team this year, but during that time there's going to be a handover process between our older players seeking new challenges and our younger players coming through.
How close sort of are some of those guys like Kellaways and forwards to getting a start?
Very close. And I guess our challenge is making sure that they're ready for 2016, and I guess the work that goes into them now becomes critical.
And when was it announced to the players?
Cheik's done that. Obviously, we've got a strong policy on the players making sure that they are aware of any announcements. So, done in a very technologically app that we've got, and yeah, it's been good.
Good reception?
Yeah, excellent. I think the players have been really supportive of my appointment and given me a lot of support during the whole process in the search for the coach.
Last question.